Hi everyone, and welcome to another session of Access to Text for September 2023. We'll flick over. So today you have with us myself, John Kennedy, Head of Solutions, and Mitch Davis, our Senior Solutions Consultant here at Access 4. And what we will just be discussing today is some SASBOSS tips and tricks, some recent product updates that have been released by the product and dev teams to SASBOSS, TAC update, how to integrate into HotDoc from SASBOSS, and porting end-of-year promotion that we have running. So to get started, I'll hand over to Mitch and you can go through the SASBOSS tips and tricks.
Thanks for that, John. So running through just 5 tips and tricks of how to use SASBOSS in ways that some of our partners aren't aware of. It could be anything from different ways you may already be aware of this. It's just things that we have had feedback from either our TAC team, our other solution consultants around different ways we can enhance our partners' usability of SASBOSS. But first of all, the search bar inside SASBOSS actually searches the PRC as well. So a lot of people aren't aware of this. This is a very useful tool. Nice thing about this is when you do the search, everyone comments on the search functionality in PRC not being great. If you know exactly what you're looking for, could be an easier way of doing the search. You can just put in feature access codes and scroll to the bottom and the knowledge base articles will be there. Alternatively, if you put knowledge base : feature access codes or FAC, it will search for that as well. So really useful way of just being able to search for those inside SASBOSS rather than going to the PRC first. And if you click on that, it will just take you straight to the PRC. So nice way of being able to provide that. Second of all is the advanced features. So inside SASBOSS, when you're looking at services, on the left-hand side, there is the advanced filters option. This gives you the ability to search for specific service packs, specific licenses, and this is could be across all of your customer base, could be across, you could limit it down to a single customer if you need to, and it's also add-ons as well as base service packs, anything you need. Very useful if you have trying to work out a specific device that you have out there, you want to replace all your T40s or something like that from Yealink, you can just search for those devices as well. So very useful and being able to export that if you need to. So that's an option available as well. Third one is premium call queues actually have statistics. So a lot of people don't realize this inside SASBOSS. If you have a premium call queue, you don't need iCall Suite to do your full level reporting. It's a nice way of being able to give you some just standard reporting out of the box. It doesn't have absolutely everything that iCall Suite does, but it's giving you some basic statistics. So from the service under the call center features, at the bottom, you have view statistics. From here, it's going to give you a couple of different things. As you can see along the bottom there, abandoned calls, answered calls, average hold time, abandonment rate, talk time, average talk time, and time calls out. So some pretty standard things across the entire call queue itself. And it also gives you some reports on the agent. So on an individual agent level, how many calls did each agent take? What's their total talk time? And what's the average talk time? So really useful just to be able to get that overview, what's happening with the call queues. And also nice way of being able to, because the stuff can't be exported. It can be exported, but it can't be scheduled. So if you need to schedule it, that's when have that discussion around iCall Suite, being able to do a lot more from it from that perspective. Very useful. This is also available from our API as well. So if you do want to pull this information via API, import it into another tool to be able to send to your customers, useful from that perspective. Number 4, everything's better in bulk. So from our perspective, almost everything can be done in bulk. You're probably aware when you create services, so individual users, hunt groups, and call centers, all of that has a bulk option inside SASBOSS. What you may not be aware of is behind the scenes, we actually have a few more. So from our side, if you have whole heap of new customers that you need to move across, or a customer has just bought a new organization and they have another 20 sites they need to bring on board or something along those lines, let us know. We can assist with that. So we can help bring on more of your customers and assist on our side to be able to do those kind of service creations and things in bulk for you with you as well. So let us know when you have those kinds of requirements. We can assist. And with that as well, we're also working with our development team to build more of these. So if you do have that kind of use case, let us know. We can have that discussion. We can have a discussion with our development team and see what we can do as well. And finally, the network qualify tool. So a lot of you probably are aware of this. This is a very useful tool which is available to all partners, and it's designed to run on your customer's network. So what it does is it searches, it does a bit of a test, downloads some software to your computer, runs through testing the network, making sure all the ports are open on the firewall, so make sure SIP ALG is off, all of those kind of standard settings. Also does some packet loss and bandwidth tests and things like that to make sure that everything's available from that perspective. So very useful when scoping a new customer, they've ordered a new site, something like that. Or alternatively, they've made a network change and nothing's working. This could be useful to be like, yes, this is the port that needs to be opened on the customer site. So that's available for anyone who needs it. The URL's at the top there. It's also on the Partner Resource Center as well. So, and jump in, have a call with your solution consultant as well if you need any assistance with this. So this is available to you from that perspective. Next thing I'm going to run through is a few product updates. So we've talked a lot about UC Express in the past few weeks, a few months rather. For probably the last 4 or 5 months at this point, it's been the big push from our big release for the year. However, at the same time, there's been quite a lot in the background going through as well.
Hey, Mitch, I have a question.
Yep.
Does my connection allow you to see the ports that may have failed the check?
So when you run this, yes, it will let you know what ports have been blocked. It also logs everything as well. So when you run this, it will prompt you for a name. That name could be whatever you want it to be. Give it a customer name, something like that. Every test that runs through this is logged. So if you call up and speak to our TAC team and there's an issue, you can speak to them and get them to check out those logs as well. So yes, we can see all of that as well as anything you provide to them as well. All right. We'll also be running through Q&A at the end as well. So if you do have any additional questions, just throw that in the Q&A section and we'll run through those at the end. But as I mentioned, recent product updates. So first of all, SMS Gateway. So this was released Q1 this year. It's been probably about 6 months ago now. New feature that was released is quick SMS. So we had a lot of feedback from partners and customers with our SMS Gateway and it requiring SMS lists or contact lists to be created. So a lot of the feedback was customers don't need to always send to a list. They may just need to send to a single customer. This now gives you that ability. So you can now just enter a single mobile number when you require it and send to that SMS. So that's available. You still get all the reply features, all of that's still there. All your templates are still there if you need to. It's just you need to prompt it with an SMS mobile number. The other thing that's been released for the SMS Gateway is APIs. So this is now fully documented on our Partner Resource Center, giving you a few abilities to create contact lists and update contact lists. So being able to create those for your customers, pulling from a CRM or something like that, as well as just being able to send a quick SMS to either a contact list or a quick SMS from the API as well. So both of those are available. All three of those are available and documented on our Partner Resource Center. So if you wish to have a bit more of a discussion about these, reach out to your PGM or SC and we can have a discussion around where it could be useful for your customers. With that quote editor, so inside SASBOSS, you may be aware there is a full scope quote section built into it. So it's probably more for the sales side. However, when you do create a quote, it is locked to the person who creates the quote. No one else can actually make changes to it. So what we've been able to provide is you can now take over that quote if you need to. You can also change it to be someone within Access 4 if you need to be, your PGM or your solution consultant. You can also change it to someone else in your organization. So very useful from that side. We do lock it so only one person's making changes to a quote at one time. This is just make sure that if multiple people are making changes, it could change from a what's the end service list, things like that. But yes, so this is now available. Just change, update who the grader is, and then someone else can modify the quote. Another feature which has been asked for quite a lot is the mobile numbers syncing to WebEx. So inside of SASBOSS, at the very bottom, there's that contact field, which is required on every service inside SASBOSS. And a lot of people just put in dummy details here and only put in the required information. The mobile number field is, which is something in there which is not available, which is not mandatory, but it's always there. That number actually now syncs across into WebEx. So if you put someone's mobile number in there for their organization, everyone inside WebEx for that customer, so anyone other user using WebEx as a software within that enterprise can also see that mobile number. So as you can see there on the left-hand side, that's just a contact profile from WebEx. And at the bottom there, it's put across that mobile number. So very useful if to be able to share that to your customers as well, making that a bit more seamless from a single directory for all of their staff members. That updates surprisingly fast as well. When I was testing this the other day to update this, put in that mobile number, by the time I logged into WebEx, it had already synced across. So very useful from that side if they're creating new users or anything like that. Less of a sync time than expected. And finally, new Strive. So we launched our new Strive a couple of months ago. We moved away from the previous platform into something that gives us a lot more functionality. As you all may be aware, a lot more courses in here coming out as well. Much more of a internal team from Access 4 working on this now. So we're bringing out new courses, new Strive to be able to do all that kind of functionality with classroom courses as well now, all of that kind of fun stuff. So all of that's in the new Strive. With that as well, we've actually turned some of the previous sections from Access the TACs into Strive courses. So those short sections kind of like this, or like those tips and tricks I just ran through, we'll be turning that into a short online course into Strive as well. So very useful to be able to just refer back to them when you need to, be able to, or someone who's missed this, Access the TACs in a couple of months' time, you remember that we did something around surveys and iCourse Suite, send that to whoever needs it, and they can run through those inside Strive as well. So very useful from that perspective. And over to John for a TAC update.
Thanks, Mitch. We do have a couple of questions about SMS Gateway, but we'll hold them to the Q&A point. So some statistics around the TAC over the last 12 months.
Actually, it's only this quarter.
Sorry, this quarter. Apologies.
Yep.
That was the last update. There's been 1,296 cases closed, a total of 1,322 calls come into the team, and 49 seconds
Average speed to answer.
Average speed to answer.
Yep.
I'm used to that being in a different format.
Yep.
So that's really great statistics from the team. Hopefully, there we go. Improvements. So there's a new internal process to escalate cases to engineering when required. So we've built a new team before the engineering team to allow for cases to be able to be escalated to the engineering team with a bit more information around them. Now, most of you will have dealt with Heath from within our TAC team in previous years. He is now sitting within the engineering team, being that sort of first port of call from the engineering perspective to work with the TAC team on what can be escalated to the engineering team to make sure that they're getting the right information when they need to push that into the engineering team moving forward. And that is working relatively well.
Also an escalation step before with the engineering team also working on projects, upgrades, things like that, meaning that there is someone who's across that engineering level to assist with that kind of thing when everyone else is working on an upgrade to our platform overnight and things like that as well. So making sure that we still have some sort of escalation point when we need it without our resources being on call 24 hours.
Yeah, and it helps with resource planning as well.
Exactly.
So we've also got a new case form. So quite a lot of you will, I assume, will have made logged a case through SASBOSS, and there is a lot of fields to fill in the old form. So the new form has a lot less fields. It's a lot faster to lodge a case within SASBOSS and get that to the TAC team and have the TAC team be able to respond to you. Now, you may need to give them more information from that point of view, but initially, it makes it a lot easier to lodge that TAC case.
Yep. So this is going live either late this month, early next month. We're just fixing up a few little hiccups that we've noticed with it, but it should be going live very shortly. So you should notice this being released in the near updates.
So I'll hand back over to Mitch to talk to about how to integrate into HotDoc.
Awesome. Thanks for that, John. So first of all, what is HotDoc? So not just mentioning a random company because we can. It's actually one of the largest providers for IT, or like for a platform for hospitals and doctors out there. Also allows booking for patients, things like that. So it's fully integrated inside their system. Nice thing is, we had multiple partners come to us asking, can we integrate with this? What's required? Things like that. We worked with them to actually work out what's involved. It's actually a lot less than we realized. So it's nice to be able to get this configured. So a little bit about how that actually operates from our side. If customers already got HotDoc, there's nothing really from their side. In their system, there's an option for calling ID, and they basically hit start. From there, there's a few steps. Basically, it gives them a phone number that they need to reach out into. So the way it actually works is when it calls into a user, that user SIM rings at the same time to a phone number inside HotDoc. It knows where it's coming from because it's related back to that individual user. And then from their system, it's picking up that caller ID and displaying that on the customer's desktop. So very easy from that side to actually get configured. In SASBOSS, however, in theory, very simple. In SASBOSS, it's actually even more simple. So from our side, it's actually only required, it does require BroadWorks Anywhere. So that means it's executive users and only on our BroadSoft platform. We don't have this on UCXL just yet. UC Express just yet, sorry. So we're working out a way to do it on that platform. However, for now, it is executive users only. So with that, BroadWorks Anywhere, if you've used this previously, it's a very nice, useful feature to be able to make calls to different platforms at the same time. So, or to ring your mobile at the same time as your desktop. So in there, you click add location, you put in a few numbers. First of all, the number being the phone number, which is provided by HotDoc, quite easy. Basically, everything else is just set to default. So always when a call comes in, we want to display it. Auto every day, we want to make sure that there's no answer confirmation because they're not actually entering it on inside HotDoc. They just want to see the call line ID. That's all they require. Few things like that, but everything else is just the default within it. From there, hit submit. Next call that comes in, it's actually going to display on their screen, saying with the caller ID, showing the patient information, and giving them that information straight away. So really useful, easy way to getting that configured. And then from our system, there's no, if the customer is on included calls, no additional cost. BroadWorks Anywhere is already included because it's as if the executive user is making that call. If they're on pay as you go, there will be additional costs. It is making a call outbound, even though it's not being answered. So be aware of that, but it is very simple to get that configured when we need to. If you do need any assistance with that, once again, reach out to your solution consultant. We can run you through it and assist in any way from that perspective. However, nice option to being able to offer to your customers who are in that field if you need to. And finally, our end of year porting promotion. Hand back over to John to run through this.
Hey guys, so we've been running a porting promotion since the start of the financial year, and the idea is to get you capable of being able to push more services onto SASBOSS through and not being limited by porting costs. So end of year promotion looks like this. So the stop port, so I've got 2022.
So any year promotion is running until the end of into the 31st of December. Any port that happens between now and then is included with that. So we're waiving the Cat A and Cat C's port with that. So very useful from your side. nice way of being able to promote to us as a sales tool. However, we are also going to flag that embargoes do happen. The 21-22 is because we have not actually had the announcement from the upstream carriers around where the ports are, or when the embargoes start. So we're expecting it to be on the from the 22nd of December to the 8th of January. So any ports between now and what goes through before the 22nd December is what's going to be included. So if you do need to get it in relatively soon. We're probably at the fastest porting timeframes that we've ever been in our organization. Big up, mostly to do with the relationships we have with upstream vendors. We're having more upstream vendors than ever as well. So being able to do more on net ports from their side. But still, if it's a Telstra port, something like that, we're still looking at 6 weeks, at which point it's at this point, that would be the end of October. So you still only have another 8 weeks before that's not going to come in this year. So get in those ports as soon as possible, making sure that we can get them across and give you that free porting for these customers.
Yeah, and where possible. And the other idea is to also log it as an opportunity within SASBOSS and log the campaign that is running for the free porting offer within SASBOSS itself. All right. Questions. So we had a question around SMS Gateway. Does it allow to send and receive MMS?
No. So SMS Gateway is still SMS only, no MMS just yet. It is something we're working on because the upstream vendor we're using can support it. However, if we were to bring in a new upstream vendor, which is kind of our plan, once again, similar to how we do voice and calling, we want multiple upstream vendors to be able to provide additional functionality and resiliency from our side as well. So with that, we want to make sure that our existing one can, and if we were to bring on a new one, we need to make sure they can as well. So we want to test out, make sure we can get it working with multiple before we actually release that from that perspective. But it is something we're looking into already.
Okay, and another question. Will the quick SMS function be able to access a phone directory? I have a client who uses the SMS service, but they don't like that they have to enter a mobile number every time and not able to access the directory.
Yeah, that's something actually has not been raised with me. I don't know if our product team are working on that. However, that's some feedback I'll definitely pass on to them and see what we can do around that for you. That's no problem.
That's all we have for questions. I'll hold for a minute or so just to see if anyone else has any other questions around what we've talked about today. But other than that, we'll finish the meeting. Do you have any marketing materials for HotDoc integration that we can use to send to customers?
No. However, that is something that we can work on. Our product marketing person is in the office today, so I'll have a quick word with him and see what his bandwidth is and see what we can do around turning basically what we ran through today and a few extra things into some into a 1-page or 2-pager for you. That's no problem.
How is that, Nathan? With a better smile? Hang on a sec. Just check. Okay, so we've got some questions in Q&A. So regarding the SMS Gateway, will you be including a voicemail service that integrates with voicemails on your work account and allows them to be sent to a selected contact group or an individual number?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Regarding the SMS Gateway,
yep,
will you be including a voicemail service that integrates with voicemails on your work account and allows them to be sent to a selected contact group or an individual number? So in other words, sending a voicemail out via SMS.
Via SMS? Yeah. No, not at this time. In theory, you could build that via our API, but it's not something we're looking into at this time.
With Broadworks Anywhere, does it still follow the call flow, or will it eventually be sent to voicemail on the mobile?
No. So that's the reason why we have that option around answer confirmation. Basically means it won't go to the voicemail user, the voicemail of that user on the mobile, because it prompts them saying, yes, I want to take that call first. So it does need an answer confirmation on one. It's basically when the answer happens on the mobile, it then prompts you saying, press 1 if you would like to receive this call. The voicemail box of that user on their mobile is never going to press 1, so they're never going to receive that.
Do we have to log the porting in an opportunity, or are you guys picking up all ports that we place in SASBOSS and then just not charging?
So it's any new customers.
Any new customers porting license.
Yes. So if your customer has been in our platform for the past 12 months and you're only just now putting in the port for them, unfortunately, that is not included. It's any new customers who have been created since July 1 is included in that porting timeframe. But yes, any new customer would be included in that port. If you do it through the opportunity, it does mean that we can grab it first and earlier. However, if it's missed, we have been doing rebates for customers that we have slipped through. I don't want to know what's happening in the chat. I don't think.
Yeah, the last chat's just
Okay.
silly. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending Access the Text for September. We will do this again in October. To those of you who are attending the conference, I look forward to seeing you there. Or Mitch and I both look forward to seeing you there.
Yes.
So see you in sunny Cairns or Port Douglas.
Yep.
It is. So thank you all for attending, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you all.